get my 6. Okay, guys and girls, I wasn't going to do this because we don't do politics on this channel. It's because politics are very divisive. It's not that we don't have our own views. We kind of do. I mean, I really don't care, but this isn't the place. In my life, I like to focus on the 95% of things I probably have in common with other people rather than perhaps the 5% that I don't. Most of that 5% being political views. But I've been asked repeatedly to do this because of the fact that the last 2 years we have done something very similar here to this ancient ritual, which I will be exhibiting to you. By the way, if you got to pause the video right now to get a pen and a piece of paper to take notes, I'm going to give you the formula for this, all the ingredients. They're ingredients that are commonly had by most people. But the last 2 years we've done something very similar, and we have with 100% accuracy predicted the Super Bowl winner, okay, on the day of the Super Bowl or the day before, and we've never been wrong. So many people have come to me saying, hey, Crazy Lake, don't you have any rituals, or can you, do whatever it is you do up there on that very strange, potentially haunted property of yours to let us know who's going to win this presidential election? Because I don't want to stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning or next week or wait for the Supreme Court decision, or just because it's, everything's so up in the air. And I said, okay, I will. But here are the disclaimers. Number 1, I'm not political. I don't care. Okay. Number 2, the result will not be picked because that's who I prefer. I don't care. Number 3, I guess, I mentioned earlier that I focus on with my relationships with people who I will allow into my life. It's because we focus on the 95% of the things we have in common, not the 5% we disagree on, which mostly is politics. I will point this out to you. I could pick 4 guys who are like my best friends, who I invite to my home regularly and who invite me to their home. 2 of those guys are liberal Democrats. 2 of those guys are conservative Republicans. Matters nothing to any of us. We're the best of friends, because we focus on the other 95%. When I run across those one-dimensional people who believe that if you don't agree with them politically, then by God, they're going to have nothing to do with you and you're evil, and they will think of all those nasty words that each side calls the other to call you, I get those people out of my life as quickly as possible, and I would highly recommend you do the same. And if you're one of those people, you might want to reevaluate your thinking, okay? Because you might know a guy that loves to fly fish just like you. You might know a guy that likes to travel just like you. You might know a girl that likes to shop at the same places as you or go somewhere and eat the same foods. Might have so much stuff in common. But the minute you write someone off because they don't agree with you politically, that means you are very one-dimensional, you are very shallow, and you're somebody who I will not let into my life as far as having any sort of real, meaningful, personal relationship goes, because I stand to gain nothing, nor do you, okay? I'm almost 50. A 15-minute lecture from you is not going to change nearly 50 years worth of my thinking, and a 15-minute lecture from me is not going to save or change however many years you've been on God's green earth in that way of thinking. Okay, now, with that out of the way, understand, I'm not doing this because I care either way about who wins. I'm doing this because it's been requested, so I'm going to do the ancient ritual, and 100% of the time, it's been accurate. 67% of the time. Now, here's another disclaimer. While I'm going back and forth, because I got about half of the ingredients in a pot here, and you don't boil this. It's not like a witch's brew. We're not going to cook it. I just put it in a pot because it happened to fit in this pot. Okay, so you don't need any fire. You don't need a heat source. But some of the ingredients I'll be collecting from the forest. Now, while I'm back here, and while I'm even here, please, pretty please, completely ignore any potential Bigfoot Sasquatch that may or may not be back here, peeking around trees, walking back and forth, trying to see what I'm doing, trying to steal this formula. They probably know it anyway. They're more ancient than all of us. Focus on the formula because, you know, you can use this to predict other things in the future. Use it for the next Super Bowl, okay? So get a pen, get a piece of paper, write the ingredients down, write down the instruction, and ignore that guy right there. And yeah, you think it's a shadow. Wait till it moves when there's no clouds. I'll be right back. Oh, and by the way, if you like this shirt, I was going to point out, when you do these rituals, you got to be comfortable. That's why I'm wearing my pajama pants. I call these my skivvies. I wear these around the house in the winter. I got a t-shirt on under here. I got this hoodie, which I designed. It says, Bigfoot Sasquatch is really only hiding from the IRS. Yeah, when our forefathers founding, you know, Thomas Jefferson sent Lewis and Clark out west to see what was out there, and they ran into these tribes. Man, they were all on the same page until they started talking about that regulation and taxation. Gee, no wonder they went into hiding. So anyway, and no, that doesn't mean I'm picking a side. I'm just telling you, everybody hates being regulated and taxed. Okay? These hoodies are available in multiple colors from our merch shelf just below this video. Okay? Let me get my ingredients. All right, again, I've got them in like a lobster pot here, but we're not going to be cooking anything. Now, I brought with me my ancient hieroglyphics. Here, now you can pause the video screen right here to copy these down, but this is what you need to break. When we come up with some results, this is what we'll use to actually translate those results into modern day English, okay? So you can pause the video and scribble these down. So that's going to be your code debreaker, like in the old Ovaltine things from the 50s. And most of you guys watching this are older than me, so I know that's bringing back memories. 67% of you watching this are my age or older. I know that. How do I know? Was it from the ancient formula? No, it's from looking at YouTube analytics, studying the demographics of my audience. All right, so, and remember, you're not old. You've just lived longer than most people, okay? And if your memory's leaving you, it's really not. You just got so much more to remember, okay? Don't let those millennials and those Generation Zers give you a hard time about being old and forgetful. You're not old and forgetful. You've just lived longer than them, and you got so much more to remember than them. All right, so here we go. Here are 5 of the ingredients, okay? Now, you might have to go buy this at a shop somewhere, but make sure it's real, and it doesn't have to be a conch. But the first ingredient for this ancient ritual is shell of sea. Write that down or type it into a Word doc. Shell of sea. It does not have to be a conch. I just like conchs. All right. Number 2. You need white of egg. White of egg. Don't use the yolk. It doesn't work with this, okay? Then you only need half. Boil an egg, take half of the white, okay? Notice how the wind died down? Sounds like someone or something out here wants to be able to hear us. Clove of garlic. Clove of garlic. Don't crush this. Don't take the peel off. Just get a clove of garlic, okay? You'll need a pinch of uncooked plain white rice, and not that instant crap. That stuff's not rice. I don't know what that is. It doesn't even taste like rice. Okay, you need like 1 pinch of uncooked plain white rice, the real stuff, okay? Do you think they had Uncle Ben's instant rice 1,000 years ago when this formula originated? No, so it won't work today, okay? And then finally, and I put too much in here, but you need a pinch of salt. Now look, this is pink Himalayan salt because my beautiful bride Dearly, aka Giggly Girl, saw it in the store and she never had pink salt before, so she wanted to pay 10 times as much as regular salt to get pink salt. I don't care. She did, and we found out it tastes like regular salt. I don't know. It's a fad. Maybe it's healthier. I don't know. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm a cryptozoologist. But I poured too much in here. We're only going to use a pinch of this as well, okay? So we got shell of sea, white of egg, clove of garlic, pinch of plain white rice, the real stuff, the stuff that was here 1,000 years ago, not Uncle Ben's instant crap, okay? And then a pinch of salt. It can be regular, plain white, iodized table salt, okay? Now, you will need something to put these in to mix them up, but we're not going to cook them. But now, I need 3 more ingredients that I can only get from nature. Let me get them. Okay, so the 3 ingredients you need to get from nature, and let me also add here, I pointed out that when you do this ritual, you need to be comfortable. That's why I'm wearing my skivvies, my pajama pants, and my inside, everybody's like, oh, you're not credible, your hat's on inside out. You know why? Because this tag is irritating. Hey, you call me crazy? I'm not going like this, scratching my head all day because the tag's irritating me. Wear it inside out for a reason. I wear my socks inside out for the same reason. The hem on the end of the socks, I mountain bike. That stuff gives me blisters on the end of my toes, so I wear my socks inside out too. And again, available on the merch shelf, as are many other quality products. Scroll down, okay? Now, here's the 3 things I needed from nature. You need to do this in nature. That's my point of that. You need to do it in nature. Get away from people. Okay? Not because they're going to say, wow, what's that crazy nutter doing over there now? They will say that, but here's the deal. They will send their negative energies your way and you don't need it. You need to be with nature. Nature's neutral. Nature doesn't care, okay? Nature will build the most beautiful beaches and then come along the next year and destroy them with a tidal wave or a tsunami because nature doesn't care, okay? Now listen, you need leaf of tree. Leaf of tree. Now this happens to be a purple leaf from a dogwood tree. It doesn't have to be a dogwood tree. Just get a leaf from a tree, okay? But it must still be somewhat living. So unfortunately, it's going to be hard to do this for the Super Bowl in January or February unless you get something like a magnolia, okay? There are some trees that will keep their leaves alive. Okay, so anyway, leaf of tree. Stick of tree. Stick of tree. It can be any tree, okay? Deciduous, evergreen, conifer, whatever. Hardwood, softwood, fruit tree. And then finally, you need bark of tree. Bark of tree, okay? This happens to be from a wild black cherry tree. It can be any bark of tree, and you don't want to take too much, okay? Just a little bit. So what we'll do now is we'll add the ingredients. So as I do this, I'm going to read them off. I'm going to state them off. You look over your notes. Make sure you wrote down this formula, okay? Because 100% of the time, this formula is accurate. 67% of the time. Okay? Shell of sea. Into the pot. White of egg. Only half. No yolk. Into the pot. Clove of garlic. Not crushed, not minced, not even peeled. Into the pot. 1 pinch of real, authentic, plain white rice. None of this Uncle Ben's crap. It wasn't here 1,000 years ago, okay? Into the pot. 1 pinch of salt. Doesn't have to be the overpriced pink Himalayan crap. It can just be regular, plain white, iodized table salt. Just a pinch. Ignore those obvious tree knocks. Into the pot. Not the tree knocks, just the salt. Okay? Now, with what we got from nature, leaf of tree, stick of tree, bark of tree. Now, what you want to do is swirl it 3 times counterclockwise. Making sure not to go hard enough to break your shell of C. And then you swirl it 3 times clockwise. Okay? Then, you're going to need a towel. That wasn't me. I didn't drop anything. I thought that's my pen, but my pen's right here on the table. Someone or something just threw something at me. Well, we're supposed to be ignoring him, her, it, or they, so just pay them no never mind. Take your towel, and it's just like, you know, a lot of folks have maybe had sinus troubles or something like that, or congestion, and you'll like boil some water, get some steam. You want to cover your head in the pot and just inhale very deeply through the nose, exhale out of your mouth 3 times. Okay? Watch, like this. Ready? And at some point during that process, a pictorial message will just appear in your head, and it's going to look different to all of us. So the picture that I just got in my head is different than the one you got in your head. However, this ancient code that I developed myself just a short while ago will crack the image. And it'll make sense when you do it. Everything in here, I know how to crack this code to come up with the answer. So give me just a second as I walk into nature and do just that. We have cracked the code, folks, and proving that yet again our formula works. It's never been wrong. The winner of the 2020 presidential election between the incumbent Donald J. Trump and the challenger Joe Biden, former vice president for Barack Obama, the winner will be the candidate who receives the most electorate college votes. Mind blown.